morning, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talks. Are you serious? I'm your host, Keith Engle. I will not be joined by my co-host, the Mad New Yorker, this morning, as he has some family obligations to attend to today. I know he did have a cousin close to him that passed away this week, and our condolences go to him and his family. And we hope to have Carlos back in a couple weeks. We won't be on next week, remember. It's the big move next Friday. So we won't be with you next Friday, but we'll be back hopefully by Sunday. That's Sunday for the Stream of Consciousness. We'll see how that goes. Big things happening here. Weather's hot. We need some rain. Every day they predict rain. It doesn't rain. Every day. I need a weatherman's job. If I was right as often as they are, I'd have been fired long ago. Anyway, so the Mad New Yorker will not join us today. I want to make sure that we get I'd like to get into your topics today. I got a few things to talk about around Manfred. Oh, by the way, we're live on Northeast Streaming Sports. Of course, we're live on TGI Sports Talk. We're live on Northeast Streaming Sports. We're live on Let's Talk Sports. Could see us on Sideline Sports later. At some point, we welcome anybody who's watching us later on any of those venues, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter as well. And again, thanks. I haven't done this in a while. Thanks to all the groups that allow me to share the content with you guys. I've been very lax in sharing things, so reviews are down a little bit just because I've been so busy. But I'll get back to that. So some of you that maybe are used to seeing this later and don't catch it because you haven't joined TGI Sports Talk, please do that. Please like and follow the show. Share the shows with your friends so we can drive more. We're getting close to that 2,000 follower mark, and I'd like to get there. On Facebook, I don't know how to manipulate YouTube. Talk to Dan Harris at Let's Talk Sports about it. He's done a great job of getting followers on Let's Talk Sports, but join them as well. Join Northeast Streaming Sports. Join them all, because you're going to get great content other than just TGI Sports Talk. Was on with Nick Bodkins and Tanner D and the boys on Let's Talk Sports last night, breaking down the NBA draft a little bit. Had some fun there. So today's going to be an hour for us to kind of chat back and forth, and anything you guys want to chat about, throw it out there. As I said, it's going to be just you and I today, back and forth. I want to get into, here's the topics I was going to talk about, and you guys can go anywhere you want, and I will get into them. I promise you. I want to talk a little about Rob Manfred, and what still, by the way, is one of the most overrated controversies in the history of sports, this Astros cheating scandal. He's obsessed with this thing and won't let it go away. Every time it starts to die down a little bit, he's got to bring it up again. Everybody's trying to get an edge and has since the beginning of time. We'll get into that a little bit because now he has, regrets that he gave all the players immunity. Whatever. I'll talk about the NFL gambling. If you guys don't have topics to talk about, we'll talk about the NFL gambling rules being clarified. And again, the hypocrisy of it. Now, yes, and we'll get into it as we look at what the commissioner laid out, or the league laid out, about betting on NFL games. Well, that all makes sense. Don't say you can't use online gambling sites when you're going to go get in bed with them for hundreds of millions of dollars. Maybe we'll talk a little about the NBA draft last night. Nothing for the Knicks. No first round draft picks. They try, as Dallas screwed them out of it. Excuse my French. College World Series. Wake Forest is out. We'll touch on that maybe on the MLB update later, and we'll certainly talk more about it on Sunday. The 2 out of 3 matchup final is set. Florida and LSU. Great game last night with LSU and Wake Forest. And I can't. Oh, Tyreek Hill we'll talk about maybe a little bit too. Jesus, the NFL. I know I'm going back in time, but we spend so much time chasing down things, perceived wrongdoings. Again, teams trying to get an edge, errant footballs, and the players continue to run amok. Now, I know guys are innocent until proven guilty, but now another player's in trouble for assault being investigated, Tyreek Hill. We can get into any of that, but we'll get into listen, this is going to be it. Bring your topic today. It's just me. Sorry, Kenny. You won't have the Mad New Yorker this morning. Good afternoon, Alec. Good to have you with us. Kenny Gifford with us up on the mountain. Who are the Knicks? Knicks. I already said this. Knicks, next year's NBA final opposition for the world champion Denver Nuggets, as the Nuggets look for 2 in a row. If the Knicks play their cards right, they could be the next Nuggets. Interesting trade yesterday, by the way. The Wizards are going to try to be as bad as they can. Trading Porzingis away, trading Chris Paul. What are the Warriors doing getting Chris Paul? Why? He's past his prime. He can't help them win a championship, I don't think. Ugh. A day when the Mad New Yorker's not here, Kenny. He's, as I mentioned probably before you were on, he's on leave today because he has a family matter to take care of. He's had a bit of a rough week, not feeling well. Had a cousin pass away, and he's got kids that are changing schools, closing on a house, similar to what situation we're in. And I think something with the kids in school this morning that he had to do. They kept changing the time, and he thought it best to not be on today. And we won't be on next week, remember, guys, because of the big move here. We'll be moving from 21 Robin Lane in East Greenbush to 10A McCown in Half Moon. Been doing a lot of work up and down. I know the path. My car can go there by itself now because I've moved so much stuff that the movers likely won't move. Small stuff. Did a lot of cleaning and finished the deck, stained the deck yesterday or this week. While I was working, it did work. So it's been a rough month I'm too old for this stuff. Why would anyone, if you're talking about Paul George, I don't get it. Is that what we're talking about? I'll talk about that right now. The Knicks rumored to be trading. And again, the trade mentioned to me makes no sense. If you're going to trade R.J. Barrett, who's 22 years old, for a 33-year-old Paul George, and they're the same player, I don't get it. Somebody's got to explain this to me. It doesn't make the Knicks a better team. Maybe it makes them better next year. Maybe. But R.J. Barrett's getting better and better. He has his moments. He's 22. Been in the league 4 years, and he's 22 years old. 23, I guess he'll be next year, whatever. But he got better. He had a good playoff last year, except for 2 games. This year, except for 2 games. Everybody has a bad game. Jimmy Butler got his team to the finals. He had more than one bad game. I don't get the trade at all. Do I see the Knicks making a trade? Sure. You know what? The only trade I would make for superstars, you can bring in, we got to get rid of Fournier's contract, which shouldn't be hard. Teams love expiring time contracts. They got to be smart in who they bring in here. Follow the Nuggets blueprint was good. They really drafted their nucleus. They've had a couple of guys that they brought in. Gordon, I think, was a free agent, but not big names. They didn't try to put big threes together. They put a nucleus together, and they were patient and let them grow into champions. Something can be said for that. The Astros did the same thing. Yeah, they brought in a few free agents here and there. Alec, what do you got here? A pro football soccer player said once to me that you have brought all of the fast. I'm not reading this well. Told me once you have brought all the fast cars, big houses, and gold chains, you just spend all your money on women, gambling, drinks. So stop paying us so much. Well, the money does rot people, right? I mean. Oh, Chris Paul. We'll get back to that in a second. Hang on. I'll get to that in a second, Kenny. This, again, Alec, I agree with you 100%. But again, adults should be able to manage money. Now, it ruins people who aren't sports stars, I get. I mean, look at some of the lottery winners and whatnot. But people have actually, I don't think that I'd be diametrically changed who I was if I suddenly had, $10 billion. If I had $100 million, I don't think so either. I'd live probably the same life I live now, maybe with a nicer, as you say, a nicer car. I don't need a bigger house. I'm moving to a smaller house. I'm old. Well, it's not smaller. It's very weird. We're downsizing, but not downsizing. Homes are expensive, too. The whole process is expensive. Hemorrhaging money here. But once we close in this house, everything will be cool. So I don't disagree. Money, and Kenny talks about it all the time. Money runs things and money corrupts. They talk about power, absolute power corrupting absolutely. Well, you know what? Huge money corrupts absolutely as well. If guys are not mature enough to handle it. And if your reference here is to Tyreek Hill, these allegations come out after he's gotten his big money. Kenny was talking about Chris Paul, and guys, we'll continue to use your topics. We don't, once we have a little lag here, I'll get into what I might have wanted to talk about, but this shows, I want this to be your show today, so whoever joins us can throw topics up there. Chris Paul, I don't understand. Chris Paul was a great player. Never won a championship. This might be his chance to win a championship. Maybe the Warriors have one more run in them with Steph Curry. Thompson, not quite the player he was before his injuries, but still a good player. Draymond Green is on the backside of his career. I can't see them paying him close to $30 million next year. But Jordan Poole is a good player. How do the Warriors trade a young guy who averaged 20 points and I don't know let me take a look here. Let's take a look since we're on this topic. What is it? Let me find this trade. Of course, it's not on my first page anymore. I gotta believe that I know Poole averaged 20 points a game, probably 7 assists, 6-7 assists. They traded a better player for Chris Paul. Why? He doesn't have championship experience. That's not it. He's a point guard who needs the ball in his hands, which a lot of them do today. But it just seems like a weird trade for the Warriors. I mean, I didn't. We knew when he got traded to the Wizards in the Bradley Beal trade, he wasn't going to stay. Not with the Wizards. The Wizards may not win. Jordan Poole might average 30 points a game next year. The Wizards might win 8. Not going to be good for the Wizards next year. I think Draymond Green's leaving as well. I'm not sure. Two things here, right? He's not the player. He's not even close to the player that he was before. And whether you love him or hate him, because he's a very polarizing figure, Draymond Green. Whether you love him or hate him, he's a pretty effective NBA player, or was. He's not nearly the player that he was. And, the antics that come along with him are much harder to take when he's not as productive as he was. Plus, upwards of $30 million you're going to pay for a guy who's obviously not just on the back nine of his career, but maybe the last 2 holes. So is Chris Paul, by the way. Chris Paul did not have a good year this year. Injuries have caught up with Chris Paul. Injuries have caught up with Draymond Green. So I don't know what the Warriors are doing, and maybe the Warriors aren't done. Let's give them credit. I don't know whether they're done or not making moves. So we'll see. Kenny's on his way to PT, week 5 and walking on it. No crutches, no anything? You said in 2 weeks you can play golf. We'll play some golf, Kenny. If you want to take a ride, we can play down here at Eagle Crest or Fairways of Half Moon. I think you mentioned you like. I'd love to get out on either one of those places here once I get settled in the next. You get yourself where you can get around good. but we'll play. I got at least one guy I can get to join us. I know lives up in the Clifton Park area. He used to work for me. He was excited to hear I was moving up near him, and we do plan on playing a bunch of golf when we can. So, or we can go somewhere else, Kenny. It's not important that, there. But I'm glad you're going to be able to play. I thought you told me just a week ago that you may not be able to play this year, so that's great news. And maybe I misunderstood what you said, but great news and continued. When I tell you that, in Messenger or whatnot, if I don't tell you every day, thinking about you and want you to get better. These types of surgeries are never easy when you're young. And when you get to be, our age, and Kenny's, I don't know, what are you, like 10 years older than me, Kenny? I'm just kidding. No, I'm glad you're rehabbing so good or so well. And also, if Paul is listening today, I hope she's not too upset about my joking around about our Perth education and stuff. I'm just, it's all fun. We got a great education in Perth. I would not have given up my education for anything. We joke about it a lot. I joke about it a lot. And Kenny and Rick Sherlock and some others will join in with the fun. It's all in good fun. I like to kid around about it. And it gives me a way to mention Perth. Perth's a great place. So, Kenny, hopefully, if you're still here, hopefully you'll recover soon. So let me get into, and again, bring your, if you've got other topics you want to get into, please bring them up. Alex, same thing for you. We'll talk about anything. You want to talk about, I can't talk a lot about it. Soccer, we can do that. But I'm going to get into Rob Manfred right now. Rob Manfred, and I'll put this graphic back up in a little bit. Why is Rob Manfred so obsessed? And Alec, I know you're a little bit new to baseball. I'm sure you're aware of this scandal with the Astros in 2017. I want to say, let me find the. Oh God, Rob Manfred. Sorry, 2017, and during part of the 2018 regular season. They did it throughout 2017, the regular season, playoffs, and World Series. Who cares? Everybody does this. Now, I know they took it to a little different level, the buzzers, the trash cans. Do you think this hasn't been done before? It's been done for 100 years, 150 years. Since there's been baseball and there's been signs given, people are trying to steal signs. Ralph Branca, who a lot of my followers probably will not recognize the name, hopefully some of you will, pitched with the Dodgers in one of the great playoff games of all time, regular season playoff, when the Giants and Dodgers had a great 2-out-of-3 series in 1951, 51 or 4. Ralph Branca went to his grave saying the Giants were stealing signs when Bobby Thompson hit that historic home run. And Lon Simmons said the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. Mo Berg was a spy in the Army, by the way, and became a baseball scout. And he was one of the guys who would sit out in the bleachers with binoculars. Again, the technology gets better, so your efforts change. And the Yankees didn't lose to them in the ALCS that year because they were stealing signs. Yankees didn't score any runs. If you don't score runs, you don't win. It's a basic premise of baseball. It's not that difficult. And I'm going to probably have this same conversation this afternoon on the MLB update. I didn't think a week ago I would have any. I would have. Oh, be able to. Kenny's talking about golf now. I would have. And I have decided not to do the second one right away. Oh, that's right. You were talking about. You were talking about having the second knee done right away. That's why you wouldn't be able to play golf. I get it. It probably makes sense. I don't know. Not having been there, and who knows? One day I may be. Probably be my hips instead of my knees. But I would think you'd want to get the first one stronger, really strong, before you get the second one done. And I know Rick's retiring soon. I don't think Rick's a golfer, though, is he? I'll have to teach him. When isn't there a scandal in baseball? That's a good point, Alec. I mean, you're new to the game and you understand it already. Between rule changes, I mean, think about the whole sign stealing thing. Now, just to get back up to speed to what he's talking about, MLB didn't punish any of the players after the investigation. Manager A.J. Hinch and the general manager Jeff at the time, both of these guys, because Hinch was fired. Lou now was eventually fired as well. They were both suspended for the entire 2020 season. That's when Dusty Baker took over, and now the Astros finally get over the hump and win a World Series with Dusty last year, as we know. They also lost draft picks and were fined $5 million, way over the top for things that happened. Listen, it's the same thing when you get you want to go back to Spygate with the Patriots. Guys, everybody does these things. Everybody. Oh God. And if you're worried about signs being stolen, then do a better job of protecting your signs. And if you're the Yankees and Brian Cashman, stop crying about this because your team was not good enough to win. Carlos is on leave today, Alan. He's got a family obligation and he's had a rough week with some illness and some other things in his extended family, also selling a house, and he's got a lot of stuff going, or buying a house, I think. It's a lot going on there. So I don't know why. And this goes on. The White Sox pitcher, Kenyon Middleton, called the twin shortstop a cheater last month after striking out the former All-Star, Astros star. It's the latest example that some of the baseball community have not forgotten the saga. Forget about it. Your team does it too, most likely. My God, they did not win the World Series because they were stealing signs. I'm sorry, they didn't. Does it give them advantage? Sure. Either steal better yourself, cover up your signs, and by the way, and then score some runs, because stealing signs does not affect the hitting prowess of your team. It just does not. And Kenny, hopefully after the shows this weekend, you won't see the shaking anymore because I'll be in my new studio in the new place. And we've got a brand new desk that I've already got built and set up there. So we should be ready to go. Replay sucks, by the way. Again, you want to get another one. So again, guys, I'm on. Let me just change my banner one more time. I want to bring up, you guys, this is going to be your show today. I went to Manfred just in a little lull here. So during the lulls, I'll fit in some things. So, Alec, where are we? Whoops. Where's my comments? Alan's beginning to hate replay. I've always hated replay. I hate replay in football. I hate replay in baseball. Slows down the game. We want to speed it up, but we want to slow it down at the same time by making sure the human element is taken out of everything. The human element of is there for the players. Umpires can make mistakes. I've said forever. And again, it started out just on home runs, and then it got extended to almost everything. It'll be balls and strikes pretty soon, by the way. I see videos all the time, if you don't see them on Facebook, that in the minor leagues, and I don't think it's all minor leagues, but in some of the minor leagues, they're testing a replay system for balls and strikes, where once a pitch is made, the hitter or the pitcher just taps his head. The umpire sees that's the side to challenge. The umpire changes or taps his head, turns around. Now there's an immediate call. It only takes about 10 seconds. But it's just more technology. The games are played by humans, officiated by humans. Get the AI out of it. If I want to watch robots play, let's build robot players. It's had such unintended consequences, right? You can challenge everything. There can't be a phantom double play. Kenny, Kenny might be gone, but back in the day, It was an art form at second base for shortstops or second basemen to cheat on a double play a little bit and get off the bag quicker to get the ball to first base. You're obviously out, but now you can challenge that. Guys steal second base, their hand comes off, their foot comes off by a millimeter. Out. Not the what it was intended for. I hate it, Alan, if you can't tell. Football, the same thing. I'm sorry. Some of the greatest games, by the way, we never talk about. We talk about the Houston-Pittsburgh AFC Championship game, which really brought replay really into the conversation when Mike Renfro caught a pass from Dan Pastorini that was ruled out of the end zone. The Oilers may or may not have beaten Pittsburgh that day, but it really was a jettison in football anyway to really jumpstart the replay conversation. It didn't happen for a few years yet, but nobody remembers that game. I remember it like night and day, and you would not remember it if there was replay. Well, I understand it's for a negative reason, but still, these memories in sports are what's important. I talk about this a lot, the 1985 World Series. St. Louis, much better team than Kansas City. Kansas City and Dick Hauser with their manager had a couple of great players in George Brett. I'm trying to think who else was still there. George Brett, anyway. Brett Saberhagen was a great pitcher. But the Cardinals were a much better team. And they would have beaten the Royals in 6 games, and nobody would ever remember if the umpire's name's escaping me. It'll come to me at some point. First base umpire didn't blow the last out of the game at first base. George Order was obviously out. He called him safe. The Royals come back and win that game and win Game 7. Nobody remembers that series without that. Just nonsense. 100% agree with me on do a better job of protecting your signs, Alec. Is that what you're agreeing with me on? It's just not the whole sign stealing thing. I've said this since 2000. I'm a Yankee fan, by the way. We didn't lose that series because the Astros were stealing signs. I'm sorry. Score runs. My God. And Brian Cashman keeps crying about it. Brian Cashman, who keeps rolling out ill-constructed rosters year after year and still keeping his job, getting and winning the one World Series in 20 years now. This is the Yankees, folks. This isn't the Royals. I said, folks. Now I sound like Joe Biden. Please, somebody punch me in the face. 1 World Series in 20 years, that's not good enough. The Rangers have been to more World Series than that. The Marlins have been to more World Series than that. The Giants. The Royals. Did I see the Rangers-White Sox game Tuesday night and the terrible call New York made in that game? Don't blame New York. It just happens to be where the replay officials are located. I didn't see it, Alex. Sorry, Al. You're not Alex. You're Alan. I didn't see it. By the way, congrats to your Rangers that kind of hanging in there. I'll talk about it. If you're around at 3 o'clock, Alan, I know you're with your work schedule. It's probably tough for you. I'll do I did get into your Rangers a lot last week, and they've done a pretty good job. Still scuffling a little bit at 500 or last 10, but good job by them. They're hitting their first little tough streak of the year, and I think actually extending their lead here. Watch out for the Angels, though. Anyway, I'm sidetracked. So I didn't see it, so maybe you want to give me a little explanation of what happened, that I'll give you my opinion. Replay is distorted football, soccer. I gotta believe. I haven't seen replays in soccer, but I'll bet you. If look at if it's affected in any way, the way it has baseball, football, even basketball. Bang bang plays used to be, let the umpires make bang bang plays. Now we got to look and we got to look at everything. Especially, and then when they challenge for one thing and then the play's overturned or there's something else affected because they can look at everything once they challenge a play. It's nonsensical. And it's not going to end just because I gripe about it. And, all the old folks like me screaming for the kids to get off their lawn are going to gripe about it. It's never going backwards. We don't ever go backwards, guys. Nothing that, the powers that be, and in this case, Rob Manfred, I'm talking about specifically, or Roger Goodell, or whoever runs Premier Soccer in the UK. They're never going to go backwards because the younger people, and Alec, maybe I'm wrong. You're a younger guy. I'm not sure how old you are, but I know you might be half as old as me for all I know. And there's nothing wrong with that. But unless you guys get up and scream because they think everything that's happening in sports is because I'm a dinosaur and apparently, I don't spend as much money as young guys. Well, guess what? I make more money than most young guys. Not all of them. And whoever makes more money than me, great. Not a billionaire. But I spend a lot of money. But they don't care about me. Probably because the people who advertise don't care about me either. And the ratings are for the people who are 30, 35, 40, 45. What is it? 35 to 50 is probably their main demographic. They think they're the ones spending all the money. They're about to be the ones saving their money, by the way. So they don't listen to me. So if the younger guys, so all the changes that get made so that the sports are all like Madden football and MLB, the score, whatever the video games are, they're made for people that are not me. The rule changes are made for people that are not me. So unless you guys get out in force, nothing will ever change. And even if you do, it's unlikely anything's going to change. But I would scream, maybe only hundreds, in a good weeks. And when I get a chance to share the show, thousands of people see my comments. It's not Joe Rogan, but you need 1,000 of me screaming about this and flooding the airways with the nonsensical way we change rules in sports, whether it's the play on the field, whether it's replay. It won't ever change. 2017 FC. Which one was it? Was that the Rams and New Orleans, where the guy just wiped out the New Orleans pass receiver? Again, I get it. It's an egregious play, and it changed the outcome of the game. And again, at the time they had replay, but pass interference was not covered, right? But now every time there's a more egregious play, they extend what replay can cover so that's covered. So pretty soon everything will be covered. As I said, in baseball, balls and strikes will be covered. In football, holding will be covered. And then you'll have a flag on every play or challenge on every play. Yeah, I think that I do think we're still talking about the same game. I assumed I wasn't even paying attention to year that much. Do a better job of hiding your sign. You know what? And now we don't even need to put signs down because we've got this, whatever we call it, where we can push a button and you electrocute. If one shock to your genitals is a strike, two shocks is and I'm kidding. I hope that's not what it does. I don't even really know how it works. I don't care because I'm not a technology guy. It's okay to do that. That's what gets me. So here's the thing. Think about this. That's a great point now, actually, that you've brought me to, Alec. It's okay to use technology to hide your signs, right? This system where the catcher gets assigned to the pitcher electronically and can't be stolen, theoretically. Do we hack into the system? Whatever. But you can't do anything with technology to steal signs, which I'm not saying you should be able to. Why can't we just go back to flashing your fingers, giving signs manually the way it should be, and don't let me steal them? And I'll try to steal them every game because that's the way it's been done for 150 years. All right, here's my monitor. I got to get through with this monitor one more week before I move because my new monitor is up at the new place. I thought I'd make it, but it's flashing on and off and on and off, and I'm going to have an epileptic fit here any minute. Man, Keith's in a good mood today, right? You'd think Carlos was here. So here's what happened in the White Sox and Rangers game the other night. Heim, the Texas catcher, got called for blocking the plate when he had given a clear lane to the runner. Umps got it right on the field, but New York said that since the edge of Heim's foot was touching the plate, it was blocking. All right, there's two problems here, Alan. First of all, you got the replay where, obviously you're overturning what is a minute infraction of a stupid rule in the first place, another rule that we didn't need, blocking the plate, because Buster Posey got run over and his knee ripped up, and he was a superstar. We put in a new rule that you can't block the plate and you can't run over the catcher. Those rules were in place forever. Forever. Again, take better care of yourself and protecting yourself. If you want to block the plate, block the plate. A catcher should be able to do that. And if you're going to block the plate, the runner should be able to run him over. One of the great moments in sports, another one that would have been lost without, if this rule had been in place forever. Pete Rose running over Ray Fosse in the All-Star game. It's a tragedy that it affected Ray Fosse's career the way that it did. But it's the way the game was played. If you don't want to get hurt, don't block the plate. A lot of catchers didn't. They would get out in front of the plate and sweep tag. They wouldn't block it because they didn't want to get run over and bulldozed. But you should have the option. It's the way the game was played forever, but nope. Can't let little Johnny get hurt. Conspiracy theories. The game's like video replay because it creates more talking points. I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, Alec. I get your point. And if you're going to go by the adage that, the only bad publicity is no publicity, do they want people talking about the game more? Sure they do. But do they want to turn off an entire generation of fans? And it's not just, well, you're not talking about just the replay. You're talking about everything I'm talking about, right? Do we need to change the way the game's played, diametrically change the way the game's played just to increase talking points? How about better play on the field, right? How about overcoming the three true outcomes of home runs, strikeouts, and RBIs without artificially trying to change the way the game's played with eliminating shifts? How about teaching players to be better, to pitch faster, to actually throw more? How about encouraging teams to get back to the day where the starting pitcher pitched the most important part of the game and wasn't already in the showers? How about creating talking points that way? Hey, what a great game last night. Did you see Cole and Verlander go 9 innings each? I talked last week about the historic game on June 14th, 1975. Had to be. Yeah, I think it was 75. 15 innings. Nolan Ryan pitches the entire game. Louis Tiant pitches the entire game. And the same day this year, Verlander and Cole were pitching very, very well, and they're out of the game by the 6th inning. How about keeping your star pitchers in the games? How about creating talking points about the actual play on the field and not nonsensical rules that leagues keep putting in, whether it's the NFL or MLB? But I get your point, Alec. It's entirely possible that that's accurate. I'm not a conspiracy guy. Oh, my freaking monitor. I'm going to kill somebody today. It's probably a bad cable, and I've packed all my cables up, and I don't know how I'm going to get this to work today. Send me the video where Facebook. Let me take a quick look. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Let me see if I can find what Alan sent me, and I'll take a quick look at it. Anyway, let me go on to the next question. That NFC Championship game was just poor refereeing. Technology doesn't need to make the call. Hey, excellent point, Alec. Same thing I talk about the players and the rules that we put in to artificially make them better instead of teaching them to be better and improving their mechanics and improving their approach to the game. Nope. Let's put in rules, let them be bad, then we'll fix the bad calls. Oh, absolute nonsense. Let's see. Let me take a look at this. I'll be back with you guys in just a second. You can let me watch this? Here it comes. Oh, Bruce Bochy got ejected. Good for him. How long is this? It's going to be like 20 minutes. I can't watch the whole thing. Let me see the play. Bochy gets thrown. I like the old guy to get out there and argue. Well, I'll wait for them to get to the play, Alec. I'll come back, or Alan, I'll get back here. Don't know what game it was, but there was a play at the plate, replay called obstruction, clearly showed the runner. Yeah, I think this is the game that Alan's telling me about. I'm playing here. I'm gonna see if I can share it, but I can't seem to go fast forward here. There we go. All I got is Bochy standing around the plate arguing. Show me the play. If I can find this. Oh, here it is. Here it comes. Finally, here it comes. I mean, come on. That is absolutely the worst call I've seen all year. He's got the guy off by 5 feet. He's got a direct path to the line. I gotta show this. Let's see if I can show this to you guys. Hold on. Bear with me 1 second. Let's take a look at this, shall we? I love technology if I can make it work. Hold on. Oops. Share screen. Facebook. All right, you guys, I'm not sure how well this will come out because let me get rid of this one though. Well, how'd I get me on there? All right, hang on a second. We're getting there. Here it comes. All right, can you see? You're not going to be able to see. We'll see it. We'll play it anyway. You're not going to be able to see this very good. I'm going to back it up a little bit and start it.
Nobody is blocking Elvis Andrus from getting reversed in a one-run game. This in an absolute embarrassment.
He had the ball 5 feet before.
That is a travesty and an absolute embarrassment that is going to get reversed in a one-run game. The purpose of this is to make sure that he has a lane clear as day. He can get to the plate. Nobody is blocking Elvis Andrus from getting the home plate.
I don't know. I can't get my brain.
That is so stupid.
Around this call. They got it right on the field.
You're talking about right there. Absolute nonsense. Yeah, there you go. So give me your comments further. That is one of the most ridiculous calls I've ever seen. The rule's stupid to begin with, as I said. Stop. I mean, catchers should be able to block the plate anyway. With that aside, that plays well within the rule. I mean, if part of his leg was blocking the plate, it wasn't. His foot was barely on the inside of the plate. I wasn't sure exactly, as you described it, where he was standing, Alan. But as I see the video, he's obviously got a lane to the plate, and that's what the rule's about: giving the runner a clear path to the plate. That's what the rule was created for. Oh, Kenny, what do you got here? Be it friendly for golfers installing rules on lip outs. The hole wasn't cut right. Yeah, I mean, no. Gee, come on. Please tell me you're laughing. I know you're kidding. By the way, there is replays in golf now, too. Because we've seen instances, and it goes back a bunch of years, where viewers have called in and called players out for not necessarily cheating, but not calling a penalty on himself for certain plays. Almost happened this week at the U.S. Open, where the winner addressed the ball, and it looked like it might have moved an iota. Didn't change anything. But I've seen in the past, I remember years ago, Craig Statler used a towel under his knee to improve, to keep his pant clean. And a viewer called, and the officials replayed it and gave him a 2-stroke penalty for improving his lie. This is 30 years ago. Stupid when you do things. Oh, my God. And they're totally taken out of context. Oh. Players in sports have gotten better, but the officiating hasn't. That's the issue. Well, again. Well, first of all, the players have gotten better at the basics. You can probably see this freaking thing flashing, for crying out loud. Drive me absolutely bonkers. I don't know what the problem is, and I'm getting ticked off. I'll tell you right now. Sorry, guys. Players in sports have gotten better. The officiating hasn't. The players are better. They're more athletic. They're faster. They're bigger. They're stronger because of training and whatnot. Their play isn't necessarily better. Again, hence the artificial rules we have to put in for shifts and for bigger bases. And you can only throw to first base so many times because the players need help in improving their batting average. Although strikeouts are worse than ever, which is really the problem. And whatever. But yes, umpires need to get better as well. They need to be trained better. As the athletes are bigger and faster, the umpires have got to be trained to make decisions faster. And when you have replay, you see it in the NFL all the time. Indecision becomes part of the officiating because they're afraid to make a call and be wrong. Umpires got it right, but New York overturned it. I agree. The umpires had it dead right. When I say it was a bad call, I'm talking about the overturn. Yes. Stop saying New York. You guys in Oklahoma blame us for everything. I'm kidding. I know New York that's where the replay is. You can say replay official. I can say on premise too, like I guess there's too many. I guess you have to pay too many people. The NFL, they're on premise. Isn't it? Maybe it's not Carlos after all. Maybe I'm just an angry old man, Alan. I'm pissed. I think Carlos is messing with my monitor. I need to message Scott and go check on you. Well, the problem is I didn't get my electric shock therapy at the home last night, and they had pudding. They had Jell-O instead of rice pudding, and I wasn't happy. I shouldn't joke like that. We had some issues going on in the family, but funny's funny. I can't help it. What else you guys got to throw at me here? I am a little riled up today. I don't know what it is. It's just I'm so tired because for the last, we started looking for a house in March, made a move pretty quickly, and then getting this house ready to list and show. Which, by the way, all the work we did here, 31. This house is 30 plus years old. Great house. If you didn't check out Zillow and 21 Robin Lane, you can see how well the Rensselaer. Check out the house. It's a beautiful house. It really showed well, and all the work that we did, decluttering and really getting things in shape. We put some new carpet in and whatnot. Allowed this house to sell in less than 2 days over asking, and that's all we could ask for. So all the hard work has been worth it. But now, we're trying to get ready to move by next Friday and doing some work on the new place because, it's only 3 years old, but the deck wasn't kept up well. I had to strip it all down and restain it, reseal it. And then next year, we're probably going to rip it, or not rip it down, but extend it and put Trex on it anyway. So that hard work will be in vain. I don't know. I got myself sidetracked there. Are we sure this isn't the Stream of Consciousness show today? You guys have done a great job today. This is what I wanted today, was to get this back and forth like we do on Sunday. So thank you for that. Players in sports have gotten, you said that already. How many times are you going to say that? Just kidding. You're not wrong. How come I add all these? Oh, there are no more other comments. All right. What do we got here? 5:52. Let's get into the NFL real quick. Where's my NFL? I want to look at this. I want to look at this story about. God, every time I want to do this, the damn stories are gone. I'm not going to get. We can get into Tyreek Hill. We'll see. We'll talk about that again more on Sunday. But he's been implicated that he hit a marina employee during a disagreement that took place Sunday. Again, I don't want to prejudge this guy, but the NFL is another league that keeps punishing teams for trying to get an edge on other teams. Punishing guys for letting the air out of footballs. But, man, it's a league full of thugs. Assault and battery. When did that not become worse than letting the air out of a football? Double homicides, where we let that guy comment on what went on, and man, he had some heavy opinions on letting the air out of footballs. Where is that story about the NFL and the gambling? Damn it. Disappears when I want it, right? I wanted to go through the let's go look at the news here. Reinforces gambling policy. Well, let's take a look at some of this stuff. Now, remember, as we talk about this, the NFL's taking hundreds of millions of dollars from DraftKings, and I don't even know what all use DraftKings. I don't know what else there is out there. I'm sure there's a gazillion of these places. The 6 key rules of the gambling policy that league officials will emphasize are: don't bet on the NFL. Okay, that's a no-brainer. I get it. Don't gamble at your team facility while traveling on a road game or staying at a team hotel. Don't have someone bet for you, I assume, on the NFL or while they're at the facility. 2 and 3 are a little bit hypocritical, and I'll tell you why in a second. 4, I totally agree with. Don't share team information. You're asking for trouble, by the way, when you get into bed with gambling sites and then tell players not to share information, because some of them, if enough money's offered to them, they're going to say, oh, yeah, so-and-so didn't practice all week. Don't enter a sports book during the NFL playing season. What if I want to do something? What if I want to bet a horse race? Don't play daily fantasy football. You're in bed with sorry, just lost my monitor again. You're in bed with companies that's what they do. They run daily fantasy football leagues. They take bets on not just the NFL, but if an NFL player wants to get into an NCAA, bet a future on an NCAA team to win the championship, you're telling everybody else it's okay to gamble by getting into bed with these sports books, online sports books. It'll be casino sports books next. And then tell your players, don't ever gamble on anything because it's evil and it can hurt the integrity of our game. Well, betting on NFL games, yes. Sharing inside information, yes. But if you don't want these kids to go out and have some fun, putting a couple shekels on, Alabama to win the national championship in football, then don't get in bed with these gambling sites. Don't tell everybody else it's okay to wager, but then tell your players it's evil because it could cause problems within our league, which it can. And I'm okay if you ban your players from gambling 100%. But don't be in bed with the people you're telling them not to do business with outside of anything to do with the NFL or the sport that you happen to be playing. It's hypocritical and it's nonsensical. And we'll run out of time, but let me get into your comments here. I keep going back to that Allen with me all riled up without Carlos here. The NFL are expected to make $2 billion. Thank you. I'm way off. Oh, well, over the next few years. So it's hundreds of millions of dollars. So, I mean, what would that equate to? 700 some million dollars a year. $2.3 billion from gambling deals they're going to make in the next few years. And then, it's okay for everybody else to gamble. But you put every restriction, because you're basically telling your team, your guys not to do it. Don't play daily fantasy football. You shouldn't play fantasy football. I get that. I didn't add that one. Don't gamble at your team facility while traveling on the road or staying at a home team hotel. Jesus, except for like a month a year, 2 months a year, you're at a team facility every day. What does it matter if I, again, put a future wager on the Nuggets to win next year's NBA championship if I'm at the team facility? Because you've said it's okay to gamble by getting into bed and making $2.3 billion over the next 3 years off these guys. I don't remember there being... I don't remember I don't remember anything so hypocritical in all my life in sports. Let me give you this quote from Jeff Miller, NFL Executive Vice President of Communications. The world has changed over the last few years. The availability of our phones and a couple of touches, and all of a sudden you can bet on many different things was not available a few years ago, and it is now. Well, yeah, you're in bed with the people that invented it and got it legalized. And you're going to make $2.3 billion from these deals over the next 3 years because it's so easy for people to do it. It's either not okay to gamble or it is. And I'm okay with people gambling within reason. I bet shekels here and there myself. So sports gambling has a great deal more presence in people's lives than it did a few short years ago, which means us, as a sports league, where the integrity of the game is the highest single principle. Is it? Is it the highest single principle? You're in bed with companies that take bets on your sport. Oh, sting. That's enough. I'm done. They only make $1.2 billion from TV, so almost double. Isn't it $1.5 billion a year though on TV, Alec? I don't know. The whole point is they're hypocrites and it's nonsense. And Alan got me all riled up. Just kidding, you did not, Alan. I riled myself up today. Who needs a mad New Yorker to rile up Keith Engle? Nobody. Not Keith Engle. Guys, have a great Friday. I'll check this Sunday with the stream of content. We'll dive more into all these topics and more. We'll see you then. Have a great week. And great to have you all with us. Thanks for helping me along here today. Have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.